Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a really fascinating breakdown of 20 daily habits pulled right from our source material. But hey, right off the bat, let's just completely erase the idea that this is just another boring morning checklist, okay? It's actually a super meticulous blueprint for completely evolving your identity from the ground up. We're talking about building a foundation so solid that your entire approach to life just shifts. I am so ready to unpack this with you. Because when you actually stack these specific actions together, it creates an absolute, undeniable force.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're starting with the absolute bedrock of this whole journey. No one's coming to save me. I am the rescue plan. Now, while this is actually listed as the 20th habit in our source, it really acts as the psychological anchor for every single thing we're about to talk about. You've got to internalize this radical personal responsibility before the other 19 habits can even stand a chance of taking root. Basically, you are the architect of your own life. And the second you stop waiting for some external savior to magically fix things, you finally give yourself the permission and the actual power to start doing the work.
To tackle all 20 of these, we're going to follow a really nicely structured roadmap. First, escaping the daily noise. Second, conquering the physical self. Third, sharpening the mind. Fourth, guarding your boundaries. And finally, number 5, the quiet transformation.
So let's start with part 1, escaping the daily noise.
All right, here are the first 4 habits in our blueprint. Step 1 is waking up before the world does. That means getting up before the noise starts and definitely before you start doom scrolling, right? This is that golden, quiet time where you actually get to just meet yourself and consistently show up. Step 2 perfectly pairs with this. Protect the very first hour of your day with absolutely 0 screen time. None. You've got to protect your mind before the rest of the world floods it with its own agenda. Then, step 3 is making your bed. Now, the source makes a great point here. This actually isn't about neatness at all. It's about momentum. By doing this, you're winning the very first battle of the day, right off the bat. And step 4, taking daily walks without your phone. No distractions, just pure clarity. Seriously, when you fully detach from all that digital noise and just walk, that's exactly where your absolute best ideas are born. Moving right along to part 2, conquering the physical self.
Let's look at these physical habits. First up, lifting heavy. The source really emphasizes that iron sharpens you, not just physically, but mentally too. It literally sharpens everything. Second is daily movement. Even on those days when you're exhausted, you just move, because motion actively destroys stagnation. Third, eating clean. And I absolutely love this distinction here. It is not about getting abs. You eat clean for energy, for focus, and well, for war. You're fueling yourself for the daily battles. Fourth is drinking water. You need to treat hydration like it's a literal superpower because, honestly, it is. And finally, the 5th habit in this section, cold showers.
And this brilliantly illustrates the whole concept of discipline in 60 seconds. Look, let's be real. Nobody actually likes standing under freezing cold water. It is miserable. But that physical jolt, that's totally secondary to the mental victory. The whole philosophy here is that if you can just conquer that immediate screaming instinct to step back from the cold, like if you can literally conquer comfort, you can conquer absolutely anything else life decides to throw at you that day. It's just this instant daily triumph over your own weakness. Next up, part 3, sharpening the mind. Let's move to and see how this builds, looking at how these 5 mental habits stack up. First, 1 full hour of deep work. That means no extra tabs open, no phone pinging, just brutal, laser-focused productivity. Second, reading just 10 pages a day. It sounds small, but over time, this literally rewires your thinking so your brain actually stops craving chaos and starts craving growth instead. Third is journaling. Now, some days this is going to be messy, some days it's super deep, but it absolutely forces you to be 100% honest with yourself every single day. Fourth is tracking your time. This isn't about achieving some sort of robotic perfection. It's really just about building awareness. Because let's face it, most people have absolutely no idea where their hours bleed away. And fifth, writing down 3 wins each night. Even if your biggest win was simply, hey, I didn't quit today. It acknowledges your perseverance and lets you end the day on a high note.
Which brings us to part 4, guarding your boundaries.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the simple habit of saying no is completely reframed here as staying dangerous. You're saying no a lot not to be a jerk, but to operate strategically. Think about it. You have a mission, you have your focus, and you only have a very limited amount of energy. By saying no to random distractions and lesser priorities, you are fiercely protecting that energy. You're staying dangerous in the pursuit of your actual goals. It is such a massive psychological shift.
And another huge boundary you've got to guard is your physical environment. The source material draws a very direct line here. Outer chaos equals inner chaos. Basically, if your physical space is a total mess, your mind is going to be a mess too. So the habit here is relentlessly keeping a clean space. You kind of have to clean like your life depends on it, because honestly, when it comes to keeping your mental clarity and keeping your anxiety in check, sometimes it literally does.
This boundary setting actually continues all the way into the evening with two really vital habits. First up, experiencing real, actual silence every single night. No music, no podcasts in the background, just you. Our source notes that this kind of silent confrontation with yourself is exactly where the real healing happens. And the final habit in this section is talking to yourself with absolute respect. The logic here is pretty bulletproof. If you don't have your own back, who else is going to? You absolutely must enforce a strict, non-negotiable boundary against negative self-talk.
And finally, part 5, the quiet transformation.
So, the crucial point is that it really all comes down to just one daily promise capped. This is such a massively important habit. You see, when we fail at things over and over again, we end up shattering our trust in ourselves. But by making and actually keeping just one daily promise to yourself, even a super tiny one, you slowly start to rebuild that internal self-trust. You're basically proving to yourself that your own word actually means something.
Now, you really have to understand that these 20 habits, they are not going to magically change you overnight. That's a complete myth. As the source material makes super clear, they change you slowly, sometimes painfully, but permanently. This whole process was never ever about fleeting motivation. Because let's be honest, motivation comes and goes, right? This is entirely about steady repetition. It's about stacking those tiny daily wins. You are literally building a brand new identity and evolving in silence. It is that unglamorous, boring, everyday repetition that actually creates lasting change.
Which brings us right to this profoundly grounded realization. The loudest transformations happen quietly. Seriously, you do not need an audience to change your life. You don't need to go post about your new habits to the whole world. You just need to put your head down and do the work, day in and day out, in those quiet moments when literally nobody else is watching. Because that silent dedication, that is exactly what creates an undeniable, booming presence when you finally step into your new identity.
We kicked off this explainer by establishing one harsh truth. No one is coming to save you. You have to be the one to step up and do it. Well, you've now got a blueprint of 20 habits that can completely rewire how you live, how you think, and how you operate. So, I want to leave you with this final, really vital question based on everything we've unpacked today. What is your rescue plan? Are you just going to keep waiting around for motivation to strike, or are you going to start stacking these quiet wins right now, today? The choice is entirely yours.